Hey, I am going to be talking about week 8 of The Artist's Way, Recovering a Sense of Strength. This is my third time trying to make this video because Cowboy saw a turkey in our yard and it made him real frisky, and then he kept trying to play with me and I kept giving in the middle of trying to make the video and instead deciding to play with him. So, my life revolves around my son who happens to be a tuxedo cat. This was one of my favorite chapters so far, and shit's been going good. I'm feeling great. It started with a section that's about survival, emotional survival. One thing that I put in the side of it was watering yourself down because the embarrassment or shame is too much. That's kind of like my short synopsis. Some things I underlined was, in order to move through loss and beyond it, we must acknowledge it and share it, which I think is partly what I'm doing here. I remember when I first shared that I wasn't getting these grants I was applying for, or these, Cowboy's trying to come in now. These grants I was applying for, or these residencies, it was kind of embarrassing to say to the online ether. Because that's the opposite of what you want to put out on social media, right? Like, you want people to see you on social media and think you're already a superstar. But, like, admitting your losses is kind of the opposite of that. It's real, though, you know? And I think it's, like, kind of the first step in saying, okay, well, what can I do with what I have? Come on, baby. Come on. So I underlined, deemed too painful, too silly, too humiliating to share, and so to heal. They become instead secret losses. Women often suffer terribly and privately from losing a child who doesn't come to term. And Julia Cameron related that to, like, art, which is very different. Like, losing a child is a pain that you should not compare to losing art, maybe, but I see the comparison. So he only wants to leave if the door's closed. But he wants to stay if it's open. He likes the option. I understand you, Cowboy. I do. And so for me, loss looks like low streams on a song I worked really hard for. Not a lot of people coming to a show. When I see people and they ask me, how's music going? I don't know why, but that feels like a loss. Like, what do you mean, how's music going? You don't see? Just all of that, kind of. When I get turned down from a grant or a residency, that feels like a loss. The unmourned disappointment becomes the barrier that separates us from our future dreams. Come on, babe. I think my method is I'm going to have to ignore him for a little bit. But the unmourned disappointment becomes the barrier that separates us from our future dreams. That was the aha moment for me. And then she talks a little bit about how good criticism differs from bad criticism, and when you get the criticism that you want, you're like, yeah, I can change that. I know how to do that. Like that's the piece of thing I needed, which is what I always want to get from my peers. I always ask, I want to, like, show somebody a song and have them be like, this is really good, but what about this? And I want them to say, what about this? And I want that to be the missing puzzle piece, right? Because what she says is artists are childlike, not childish. So when we get what we need to hear, like, here's your missing puzzle piece of criticism, then, like, that's good, ultimately. When it's, like, negative criticism that, like, makes you feel like shit, like, that's a different thing, right? So then she talks about how academia can kind of stifle creativity, and I understand that, but I didn't relate to it as much, because for me, I went to, like, an art college, and I didn't find my creativity stifled. Some things I did underline was, give yourself the dignity of admitting your artistic wounds. That's the first step in healing them. So just kind of that idea again. No inventory of our artistic injuries would be complete without acknowledging those wounds that are self-inflicted. Yeah. Why am I embarrassed about blah, blah, blah? Like, for me, why am I embarrassed about posting that I have a YouTube channel online? Like, I don't know. That's probably something that I told myself. Then the next part is gain disguised as loss. And it's all about reframing our losses. Which is really important to remind myself that, like, we need to do in order to move forward. Every end is a beginning. Sounds corny, but, like, how else are you going to get through being a musician? How else are you going to get through being a songwriter? This is the way to coddle yourself when you need coddling, and telling yourself, like, something that might feel like a lie at first because you know it's the only way you can keep going. Like, people do it all the time. How can this loss serve me? Where does it point my work? Those questions are important. I underlined those. What's next instead of why me? What's next instead of why me? Yes. So this applies to everything. For me this week, I found myself feeling really negative about my body and how I look. It's not about weight. It's more so about I don't feel in my body. I used to feel really in my body and, like, strong. And, like, because I walked everywhere. I walked, like, 10 miles a day when I lived in Philly. And now, I take care of a 94-year-old woman, so I sit down most of my time. I don't really do anything. I have bad allergies. But, I could have been like, why me? Like, why am I so lethargic? Why do I feel like I look bad? I don't look like my best self. I want to feel hot. I want to feel sexy. I want to feel strong. So instead of, like, sitting in that, which I did for a while, I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? Like, what's next? And so I've put myself in a 3-day-a-week workout routine. And this will be my 3rd day today doing it. And I love it. I love it. Is it hard? Yeah. Do I feel so good after and, like, strong? And I like feeling sore because it reminds me that, like, my body is like a body. Like, this is awesome. I have learned that the key to career resiliency is self-empowerment and choice. Yeah, I think there's no way you can make it being a creative person if you're not choosing to empower yourself. Like almost like it's a marriage. Where when you marry somebody, you choose them over and over, and when it gets hard, you find fun ways to spice it up. Like, that's what you have to do with your art, I think, too. Are you gonna come in, cowboy? Last chance. Last chance, little boy. Come on. Yeah. Hi, honey. Hi, honey. He's having a fussy day. He might end up being a big brother soon. We'll see. It's harder to hit a moving target. So, like, keep your goals, kind of, is one thing she mentioned. Rather than allow yourself to be blocked, look for the other door. Yeah. Reading this made me feel inspired, like I want to write a song about my negative experience with my last label, which has been on my, like, radar for a while, but I just have been kind of in pain and unsure, like, what to say. Age and time, product and process. This was the next part, which I loved. So this part was mostly about, like, don't let time be a factor. Don't let the product is not the goal. The process is the goal. And this is hard for me to remember because I feel right now like I'm kind of product centered. Like, okay, my EP is coming out 1st of August. I'm lining up 3 singles after that. September single, October single, November single. Not attached to a record. And then I have another EP completely different EP that I want to be released early summer of next summer. Like probably around this time next year. And that's what I'm working on now, along with the singles. And so right now I'm very like product, like when is it going to be released? What is it going to look like? You know, that whole thing. When really the goal lies in the doing, the activity of doing it, the making the creative work, the planning the photo shoot, thinking like, what does this look like and why? What does this sound like? If you want to get a cat, like really think about it. Because he's nuts. Anyway, what does this sound like? Do I want upright bass? Do I want regular bass? Who do I want to play? And why is this song important right now? You know? So asking those questions and the act of making it is kind of the point. Because when it's done, then what do I have to do? You know, like when I don't have any music to work on, I don't know who I am. Focused on process, our creative life retains a sense of adventure. Focused on product, the same creative life can feel foolish or barren. And I put reread. Focused on process, our creative life retains a sense of adventure. We're exploring. Focused on product, the same creative life can feel foolish or barren. I don't want to know the end point yet. I don't want to know what it looks like when it's done yet. I want to focus on what I'm going to have to learn to get there. And kind of like seeing where it goes. And so that's something I have to remind myself. I circled this and I put my problem. We, as working artists, may want to explore a new artistic area, but we don't see where it will get us. We wonder if it will be good for our career. Fixated on the need to have something to show for our labors, we often delay our curiosities. Every time we do this, we're blocked. Wow! My son is nuts! My son! Okay. So that's something that now that this book has kind of made me aware of, now I can like open that up and not let that happen anymore, because really, what's stopping me from writing a 5-song piano-based record? Just because I know guitar now, and I feel like that's what anybody who likes my music will expect, that shouldn't matter. I should just do what feels good and explore my curiosities. Same thing with learning production stuff like I'm doing right now. I think that even if it sounds like bad at first, taking the time and learning the skill cannot be fruitless. And even if it is, like, so what? I think that's kind of the point, maybe. Like, even if it is, so what? What's fruitless? Nothing's fruitless. This has been sticking with me out of everything, weirdly. There's always one action you can take for your creativity daily. So I've been doing it every day. Every day I do something, whether it's like practicing or going to band practice or applying for a grant, or which I kind of always try to do anyway, but I'm not letting myself go a day without it. Even if it's just simply taking 5 minutes to play around, you know? Or taking 5 minutes to make a vision board for a song if I really don't want to do music stuff, you know? She mentions how you really should try not to rely on, like, your management or label or whatever, like your helpers, to do all the work for you of putting yourself out there. And this is something I've definitely done in the past. When I had my label, I thought all my problems were solved. They'll do the work. Not the case. And now with this new management I'm going to be coming into in the beginning of June, I want to remind myself that it's still my job to put myself out there and work for myself. And to explore my art and do the heavy lifting. And there's nobody else who's going to care about it like I do, no matter how great they are. We have to fill the form. is what Julia Cameron says. Filling the form looks like, okay, I want, this is kind of what I did in the beginning of this process. I want merch. I want a new band, like that live close to me. I want my EP to be finished. I want to work on what's next. I want to feel better in my body. I want to, all these wants, and then filling that form. Okay, I want merch. I'll DIY some merch. I have a friend that's really good at this. I should ask her for help. And now I have merch. I need to meet some musicians around here. Let me go to some shows and meet people. Get some more connections. I have a fucking amazing band. I have a band full of people I genuinely love and care about, and they really love and care about me, and they're making amazing music on their own, and they take time out of every week to practice with me. I've never had that before. Every week. The scheduled band practice is like band practice / my social event for the week, genuinely. So just like filling the form. What do you want doing the thing? So I did the exercise. I decided some affirmations I'm going to tell myself this week. I wrote what I would be if I was a color. I would be red. And that's because I'm passionate, I'm fiery, I'm bold, I'm romantic, and I just like that color. I think I can be aggressive sometimes, but it's all in good fun. He's nuts right now. You hear him? So, how many days this week did I do my morning pages? Like 3 or 4. The morning pages have been hard. I'm getting burnout with waking up early every morning. I end up staying up late, and it's just been rough. But that's okay. It's better than none. I just have to keep trying my best. My artist date this week. So, I kind of want to count working out as my artist date. I don't know if that's allowed. It's not very creative, I guess. But creating the workout has been fun. And I'm really into it. So, partly working out. Also, I went to Home Goods. And I got, like, these cute salt and pepper shakers and, like, a new mug. That I didn't need to get, but I wanted to spice up my home. Yeah, I don't know what the borderline of is, like, productivity addiction versus artist date. You know what I mean? Like, it really feels like there's only so much time in the day, and I have a lot of things I want to do, and I do a lot. All of the things I want to do are for myself, like working out, cleaning my home, going to the store and getting things I like, grocery shopping, playing with my cat, practicing every day, vocal warm-ups every day. I don't know how I do it all, to be honest, but I do. And so I'm not disappointed by that. Did I experience synchronicity this week? Yeah, I did. So, my friend Julia is going to be my coach for the next 10 weeks. And I think I manifested this because I've been wanting a therapist, or I thought I wanted a therapist, but I couldn't afford it. And she needs practice for coaching, so all these sessions are complimentary. And I actually find I kind of like coaching more than I liked therapy. I kind of am working things out on my own a little bit more. And it's helping me with my sense. We just did our first one today, just now. But it's helping me with my sense of self-assurance. Like, I don't really need to ask for advice maybe as much. It's what I can see down the line, what that might look like. Issues for my recovery. I mean, there's always bumps in the road. I had a bump in the road with just, like, my money making this week. And getting nervous about my student loans, even though I've been paying my student loans this whole time. So the new Trump administration, like, law isn't really going to affect me. But just hearing about it on the news and stuff kind of just, I don't like thinking about it. It scares me. And that's probably, like, some kind of financial trauma response. But I'm feeling inspired for the most part. I feel like taking care of my body and getting stronger at the same time as practicing, like, mental and emotional and artistic strength. kind of goes hand in hand in a way that I enjoy. And I think my next show, May 17th, is going to be my best one yet. So I will see you. Next week is week 10, recovering a sense of self-protection. So hopefully that goes good.